Licensing and retail seem to be closer together than they ever have been, and I think that's partly because people like Lima and people like the Brand License Europe show have worked very hard to cement a partnership between retailers and licensing, and of course individual licensing agents and licensing companies have focused a lot of time and attention on retail and the relationship with retailers. That said, there's no doubt that certainly from a UK point of view that we are in challenging times from a retail point of view. We're finding lots of store closures, big retail groups struggling with their performance and results. But within that environment, I think licensing has a lot to offer, and I believe that retailers and retail buyers have recognised that and are now plugging into licensing programs to give them a point of difference in particular. So we're seeing more exclusive ranges, more collections developed in tandem with retailers, and also I think from a tactical point of view during key seasons like summer season and Christmas, licensing can make a real difference for retailers. So I think it's a very encouraging moment for licensing, albeit we are in a challenging retail environment. I think the next trend to look out for in licensing is probably personality-driven licensing programs. I think brand licensing is becoming more recognised, and we're seeing lots of success from FMCG brands. In my own experience, we've had a lot of success with the Britvic soft drinks brands, and I think that's encouraged other people to look at brand licensing, and in particular I think personalities seem to suit the licensing model. Recently in the UK, the Body Coach, better known as Joe Wicks, launched a range of products which are now going into department stores. And again, in my own work, we're working with well-known TV personality and chef Nadia Hussain, who's risen to fame through TV programs and books, and we've developed a licensing program with her using her brand. And I think in the modern age where consumers are viewing content through social media and sharing platforms, I think media-driven personalities that they recognise and they trust and they can build a rapport with present really good licensing opportunities. And I think in coming months we'll see a little bit more of that kind of thing come into the fore. I think the new and emerging sectors of licensing are to be encouraged, because I think licensing as a business model needs to expand its reach, bring in more consumers, bring in more retailers, and I think when you see types of licensing like Heritage, for example, in the UK, very successful programs from the Victoria and Albert Museum, I think what that's done is that's brought in new licensees into the mix, it's brought new retailers into the mix, and it's made everyone think a little bit differently about product development. And I think for the industry as a whole, if we see different types of licensing and different sectors of licensing flourishing, I think that's going to be a good thing, and it's healthy for the industry as a whole. I think sports licensing is quite a tricky area in terms of where it stands in the market, because a lot of it is very much driven by the fandom that consumers have around their particular passion, so whether that's a club, a country or a particular type of sport. So I think a lot of the time it really depends on how well your club or your country is doing. Recently in England we've had obviously a success with our football team, who did particularly well in the Football World Cup, and that was it was a good news story for the country. But obviously in the UK you've got Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland and Ireland itself, who perhaps wouldn't celebrate an English success as much. So from a retailer's point of view and a licensee's point of view, it's quite difficult for them to manage programs like that. I think we are, as I said in the beginning, we're in challenging times, so I think we'll still be facing quite a lot of challenges. But I think in 12 months' time what we will see is we'll see growth in areas like brand licensing, personality-driven programs, and I think we'll see more success for heritage licensing. I'm hoping that we'll see more partners coming into it from different sectors of retail, different sectors of product, and also in areas like promotion. So I'm optimistic. It's going to be a challenging 12 months, but I hope we'll be in a slightly better position in 12 months.